All right, welcome back to another. Oh, I didn't say ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Great League Remix, basically. I've got another page one team for you. This person is ranked 38. I was not able to message them. I don't know how to message them. Their name's kind of weird on the list, so I'm not going to say who they are just in case they want to keep that to themselves. But I did see their team through someone else, and yeah, it's going to be Giratina Origin Form with 2 Fairymon in the back. It's going to be Carbink and Shadow Alolan Ninetales. So obviously having shields for Giratina or Alolan Ninetales will be very good to switch or maintain a switch advantage. And anytime you can find a use for Carbink, you need to get right in there and use it. It is pretty RPS in comparison to a lot of things. Just like I say, Lantern is pretty RPS. It has its role, and it does its role well, and outside of its role, it can be kind of weak. But it is very bulky, and you'll see through these battles that if you do just use its bulk against some mon, you are going to win those neutral matchups pretty. It has a very good zero shield matchup list, I will say that. So you really want to be using your shields on Giratina and Alolan Ninetales, and hopefully just finding an advantage for Carbink wherever you can. All right, before we get into the video, definitely hit the subscribe button if you think that you have. Go ahead and double check, and if it isn't subscribed, go ahead and click it. Now let's go ahead and get into the battles. I have just made all of the icons here to the left, so hopefully that'll help you out. Let's go ahead and get into this matchup. First match against Stunfisk, they end up switching into Sableye. I switch into Ninetales here. This is actually a huge mistake, I think. If they switch into Sableye, you should definitely be switching into Carbink. There's nothing it can really hit Carbink for, and you can farm this all the way down, especially the purified version, because the purified almost always has return, which is obviously resisted by the rock typing of Carbink, and the shadow version does have the power gem, which is going to be super effective against Alolan Ninetales. Although you'll always have to shield Alolan Ninetales once, because return will basically be able to KO with the Shadow Claw damage adding up. So yeah, that's why you always want to go into Carbink. Obviously, this is my very first game using this team. I did play this 2 hours ago. So yeah, we did end up going into Ninetales there in the back, and I have edited terribly, it looks like. Let's hope it doesn't take us too long to get into this next game. I guess I can speed it along here. There we go. All right. This matchup's not the worst, and then they do switch into Dragonair here. I think it's fine to go into Alolan Ninetales here. We can actually go into either of them, but Alolan Ninetales is a little safer. Oh, I remember I played this person yesterday, and I did remember their team, which is why I saved Carbink for the back. I think this is a... Actually, I think this was literally in yesterday's video. Guys, check if this is the same trainer picture or model, avatar model there in the back with the Empoleon Double Dragon. I'm 99% sure. So I decided I can just use both shields on Giratina. I can just do as much damage as I can against this thing. And if they come in with their Dragonite, we can farm it all the way down. We don't have to worry about anything. We're basically going to be throwing Rock Slides into the Empoleon. Because we're just trying to do as much damage as we can. They know that we're not at the Moonblast, though, and I think they end up going for a no-shield. But that means we're just going to end up going for the farm down here. We're actually not even in Drill Peck range on the Giratina. Yeah. I guess the higher you get, I will say, the more times you're facing the same people, especially if you end up playing at the same times. Now, I do play at very different times. You can always check in the top left corner at the time of the match. And yeah, sometimes I play one set at like 7 a.m. Next time I play a set at like... Oop, 1 second. I'll cut this out. Right back to it. All right, they come in with the Pelipper here. Yeah. Oh, what I was saying. Yeah, the higher you get, the more often you just play the same people. And I must have played at the same time yesterday. I guarantee if you look at, I think it was yesterday's video or the day before, I definitely played the last person before, and they're actually on my friends list, but I won't name them since they're using apparently the same team every day. Obviously we're changing up the teams on our side, trying to get as many top teams out there as I can for you guys, which actually is a little bit weird for me because I find that the more deeply I know a team, the better I can play it. So it is interesting to play a new team every day, and I guess I'm getting better overall against things, but at the same time, you're not going to get the depth that you could possibly get playing the same team every day. All right, they come in with Tapu. I think I'll probably just shield this. Oh, yeah, we don't really need to shield it, right? Because we have Giratina. So if they do end up shielding here, I can actually farm this all the way down. We already have a little bit of energy from the DD in the previous matchup, and they do have a Psycho Boost rather, on DD, so I definitely need to come out with a move. Nature's Charm will definitely KO us here. Nature's Madness, sorry. But yeah, we have either of these moves and they'll both be enough. So luckily we do get to the Shadow Ball, so I don't have to worry about maybe KOing or not. But I think that Ominous Wind would have been fine there. It's close. All right, regular Magnezone, a little bit weird. I do want to see which Mon it is. Ends up being Goodra. So Goodra, we can definitely take either of our Mon here. But yeah, I don't know why I didn't come in with... Oh, I do know why, actually. So I figured... So it did take me a second to switch because I wanted to think about what I was going to do. And I figured I could actually get a lot of damage off against this Magnezone with these charms. I totally forgot that it was a non-shadow, though. So really it didn't take much. And I actually am so close to getting into this next Weather Ball, but I do not make it. I do resist... Wild Charge, but it's a question of do I want to take 45% damage or not, and I decided to just take it here. Man, I know this is going to be a mirror shot, but I have to shield just in case. They end up coming with the Gligar. That's bad for me. I do go for Ominous Wind. I actually just kind of want to get as much damage as I can off against this thing. I do go for CMP, but I end up shielding anyway, so going for CMP here was weird. I'm going to go for CMP, though, on the second one again. Oh, actually, I'm going to go one before, I think. Yeah. I don't know why I did this. I should have basically gone for CMP again. But I was afraid that they would shield, and they end up shielding anyways. But I think that if we get to a Rock Slide, we'll be good. The only thing that we have to worry about is that they did switch, obviously, a lot sooner than we did. Probably 25 seconds before we did. So we really have to be afraid of Switch Timer. It's coming up pretty soon. I don't want to throw right away. They end up switching in the Mag Zone. Now I can CMP them here on the Moonblast. Obviously, we saw how much a Dig is going to do. I'm going to live with about 15% HP, and a Moonblast is probably going to KO the non-Shadow. It's very close, though, but I think this will KO. Nice. All right, Alolan Ninetales, very bad lead. I end up switching into the Mirror. They have an Empoleon. So bad of a switch. But to be fair... It is better that we didn't come in with Carbink. One, it can still hard counter the Alolan Ninetales. Two, Empoleon with Steel Wing is double super effective against Carbink, being that it is a rock and fairy type. So it can be very difficult, well, impossible for Carbink to do anything against Empoleon, and Empoleon gets to just become this huge menace. I do go up to 2 Ominous Winds here. I let one Drill Peck hit us. I know that one is obviously not going to KO, and I want to go for 2 here just in case. And they end up, we didn't see exactly what it was, but I saw Dragon and Flying type in the back. I assume it's Dragonite, so I'm going to shield this since this is actually the strongest move left. And hopefully I can farm this down before it gets to the next Weather Ball. I'm 99% sure that I will. And then I can just farm down the Dragonite. Although I am at 2 Rock Slides. And I don't know if it is going to have to throw something into my Carbink. Which means that I might still be able to get a move off with my Giratina. And when I say something, I mean it has to be a superpower for it to KO. So hopefully it will be able to lower its attack. And my Giratina might be able to get another move off, so I end up going for both of those. Looks like I actually could have just farmed it down, but I didn't know that at the time, so I decided to go for that win con that I just described. End up that Carbink is... Oh, my Carbink's best buddy, so it is very bulky. Best buddy 1500. That I don't really usually have good IVs, and I don't remember the IVs on this one, but I do know it's best buddy 1500, and that's good enough for me. The Poliwrath ends up throwing at 5, so I knew it was going to be a power-up punch no matter what. Yeah, we just don't do anything with that. They do end up coming with a Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is definitely a mon I want to try out. It is a little scary against some of the dragons, but you guys know, if you've been on this channel long enough, I really love playing Ferrothorn. I think it usually has a lot of coverage against a lot of things, and Yeah, it ends up shielding here. It could... The thing is, the worst thing it could have here is Flash Cannon. And I haven't run Flash Cannon in a while, but it's definitely good in this cup. And yeah, it did have Flash Cannon. They actually switched into Frostlass, and I can actually just farm this all the way down. I remember this game, since it took place like 40 minutes ago. Yeah, they threw a Shadow Ball and then left. Alright, another Stunfisk here. Stunfisk is interesting, and now that I've played one game with it, and hopefully you won't have to do this since you're watching this video, I know I can just come in with Carbink, and I don't have to basically use a shield there on Alolan Ninetales. And even though Carbink is obviously very, very bad against Stunfisk, I still have Moonblast, which is going to be dealing neutral damage, and it's going to do a lot. I mean, maybe probably does like 35%. And there's a possibility I can get to 2 if they get very greedy. But yeah, look at this massive farm down. If you run into Sableye, this thing is a monster. Let's see how much this actually does. I would guess 35%. Yeah, it looks like somewhere in the 35 to 40% range. They end up CMPing me on the Moonblast here. Really good timing by them. Really good of them not to get super greedy, although they could have farmed down maybe, and maybe that would have been worth something. They do end up coming with a Charm Ninetales, so I need to get something back before I switch into my own. At the very least, the Shadow Claw damage is something, right? So it looks like now I can use my shields against this thing and get the farm down here. I was going to say maybe they could just have gone for the full farm down and just not try to get my shield, but it's a tough call either way for them. This game's actually going to be pretty close if they go for the farm down here with their Stunfisk. I don't make it to the Weather Ball. The thing is, I don't think I'm in Mud Bomb range, but it's too close to call. I think they're going to get to another one here, so we'll see. I'm pretty sure I'm not in Mud Bomb range. This Stunfisk is very bulky, so it doesn't do that much damage. I don't know why I went for the Shadow Ball here. I think Ominous Wind would have been enough, but I figured, I looked at my health and I thought I would live, but now that I see I only lived with like 3 HP, that was a close call. Alright, Dragonite in the front's very bad. Obviously, I switch into a Registeel here, which is equally as bad. I was about to say worse, but I don't know if it is worse. It's actually just equally as bad. They can, and I remember this battle too, they are very good at farming energy here, and I believe they actually undercharge this. I don't know that normally we'd live this far. We get the attack drop. It's just all bad news for us. I'm really hoping they throw a move, but they would never throw a move here. They're just going to farm me all the way down, and that's going to be GG for my Alolan Ninetales. And technically, sorry about that. Technically, I resist everything unless they have a Steel type move, which I believe is Flash Cannon. And so I'm pretty sure I can just farm this all the way down. Then I get really scared because I'm like, maybe I need the health here on Giratina for something in the back. So I'm going to throw this and just see what they have. They actually have a Jellicent here. So luckily it's not Bubble. The thing we have to worry about most is Surf. It's going to be super effective. Dragonite, we don't have to care anything about it. We don't even need shields to beat it. So I'm going to double shield the Carbink here and maybe just try to farm this down. I'm not going to be able to farm it all the way down though. But it's going to take 3 or 4 Surfs to land to KO me. So I've already dealt with 2 of them. They're going to have to get to 6 Surfs. And I've already done about half their HP in fast attack damage. And I've made it to 2 Rock Slides, which is nice. The thing we have to worry about is them trying to catch this last Rock Slide. We can definitely take 2 Surfs very easily here. We have a 2-turn move versus a 3-turn move, so as long as I throw between 1, 4, 7, we can see the animations that they're doing and not throw, if we don't want to, into the Dragonite. So I think we're 1 away. We see that they throw a Hex. We're able to throw this, and Dragonite will just farm all the way down if they do KO us with a move. I still think at this HP... Dragon Breath is definitely enough now, even though it is double resisted by the Fairy typing versus the Dragon typing here. It is a Shadow Dragonite at the end of the day. It does a lot of damage, but they're not going to have a lot of energy left over to deal with Giratina. Poliwrath, I think I played twice today, and it's actually an interesting matchup. We'll talk about it after this. They do swap in and catch on the Mandibuzz. I decided I can go to 6, and then I'm going to switch to Carbink and farm it all the way down. Same basic thing I do to the other dark types, right? You can basically do that against all the dark types. I guess you can't really do it against Umbreon because you're dealing neutral damage to it, and it's super bulky, so it'll eventually, you won't be able to farm it all the way down. But against Mandibuzz, you're doing super effective. Against Sableye, it's a lot more frail, so you can definitely get through it easier. Again, we're not going to try to do anything except farm this down. I don't care what it throws at us. Probably going to throw an Air Lace here, thinking it can get to 2 here at the end, and it kind of does the same amount of damage, so definitely got to go for it. But they get KO'd there. They end up coming back in with a Poliwrath. Okay, so we do super effective against it, and it can do Scald, I guess. But probably we live a Scald. I'm not going to shield Carbink here. We've already gained an advantage. I was going to say, though, against Poliwrath in general, it does have Icy Wind for the Giratina, and I really can't if I hard swap into like Alolan Ninetales, it can be awkward. I do decide to come into Giratina here because I know that we're going to CMP to the move here, since they already threw an Icy Wind, or since they already threw a Scald, I mean, at the Carbink there, and they end up coming with a Pelipper, and I've got 2 shields. I've got an Alolan Ninetales in the back. They went to 7 here because it's CMP, which, interesting enough, I lose CMP against Pelipper, so I know it can't be Hurricane. I believe it takes 9 to get to Hurricane. Maybe it's 8, but it's been a while since I played Pelipper. I feel like it's 9. Either way, we end up KOing with the Giratina. We have 2 shields left and a 3rd Mon that they didn't get to see, so that's a pretty big flex for us there. Again, I saw this by someone on the leaderboard there on page 1, and yeah, pretty interesting team, pretty good team. Carbink, I did post in my top teams in 2 teams, I think, because Carbink actually has a lot of play in this meta. The only thing is Registeel also has a decent amount of play in this meta, and Registeel obviously hard counters Carbink. But Carbink is, I'll say, decent against Steelix, which is also something that is being seen a lot here in this meta as well. I think a mon I want to use here in the future is definitely going to be Ferrothorn. Again, you guys know how much I love Ferrothorn. There's lots of Ferrothorn videos on this channel. I'll see if I can do that maybe for the next one. But yeah, if you like this video, hit the like button, and if you like this channel, hit the subscribe button and catch any other videos that we have coming out, and I will catch you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video, and if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button. You'll see any content coming out, and if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.